Question 243. AWS connects customer data centers and applications through dedicated networks. What is the cloud deployment model? And the options are A. Public cloud, B. Multi-cloud, C. Private cloud, D. Hybrid cloud. And the correct answer is option D. Hybrid cloud. Explanation. The cloud deployment model is a hybrid cloud. Hybrid clouds are often used where there is a requirement of burst capacity where workloads are spilled over to a different cloud environment to meet capacity demands for a short period of time. Here, purchasing capacity may not be a good idea since it will be extremely ineffective from a cost standpoint, resulting in underutilization of resources once the requirement for capacity ends. The other compelling use case for a hybrid cloud is a highly available or disaster recovery environment, where the cloud model offers a lot of flexibility in making resources in the event of a data center failure, where the client may not need upfront investments for resources for an alternate site. Option A is incorrect. When an application is fully deployed on a vendor's AWS and Google cloud infrastructure, it is termed as a public cloud. The application features may have been either developed on the cloud or migrated from an existing cloud's on-premise infrastructure. Our scenario uses both the customer's data center and AWS. Option B is incorrect. A multi-cloud leverages different cloud providers' environments. He may deploy his applications on AWS and Google Cloud based on compute speed requirements, availability of managed services, etc. With the use of multi-cloud, it is best to use open source tools like Terraform for infrastructure as code, Splunk for monitoring that are cloud vendor agnostic to avoid vendor lock-in. Since our scenario uses only the customer data center and AWS, there are no multiple cloud deployments. Option C is incorrect. A private cloud refers to a cloud environment that has been built in-house on the client's premises using virtualization and resources management tools. Private clouds are usually built for specific security and regulatory requirements, especially hardware or configuration requirements, and extremely critical network latency that may not be possible on a vendor's public cloud platform. Since our scenario has both the client's data center and the AWS cloud, it will not result in a private cloud configuration. Next question. Your company has set up EC2 instances in a VPC for their application. When it comes to traffic flowing in and out of instances, the IT security department needs to understand what security mechanisms are available. In the VPC, what are the two layers of security provided by AWS? Select two options. And the options are A. Security groups, B. Network ACLs, C. DHCP options, D. Route tables. And the correct answer is option A. Security groups and B. Network ACLs. Explanation. The AWS documentation mentions the following. A security group acts as a virtual firewall for your instance to control inbound and outbound traffic. When you launch an instance in a VPC, you can assign up to 5 security groups to the instance. A Network Access Control List (ACL) is an optional layer of security for your VPC that acts as a firewall for controlling traffic in and out of one or more subnets. You might set up network ACLs with rules similar to your security groups in order to add an additional layer of security to your VPC. Option C is incorrect, since this is used to decide on the DNS servers for the VPC. Option D is incorrect, since this is used for routing traffic in the VPC. Next question. Which of the following may not be an economic benefit of using AWS cloud services? And the options are A. The client is running a dedicated MySQL database server on AWS with his own CPU-bound license. B. The client is running spot instances for batch data processing workloads. C. The client is running applications with a relatively predictable and consistent resource demand using AWS reserved instances. D. The client is using S3 Intelligent Tiering Storage class while uploading objects. And the correct answer is option A. The client is running a dedicated MySQL database server on AWS with its own CPU-bound license. Explanation. CPU-bound software licenses will require a dedicated host tenancy model rather than a shared tenancy model for the EC2 instances hosting the MySQL database software. Dedicated hosts are the most expensive tenancy model when it comes to pricing. For example, an M4 large on-demand dedicated host is 24 times more expensive than an on-demand shared host. A dedicated host tenancy may be used under exceptional circumstances of spiky traffic, while purchasing hardware on-premise may not be the best option. Then the client can take advantage of cloud elasticity. Option B is incorrect. Batch processing jobs rely more on accuracy rather than on speed, which forms a good use case for using spot instances, providing economies of compute where intermittent disconnections may not be a real problem. Option C is incorrect. AWS reserved instances have discounts on the EC2 uses. This method can provide an economic benefits. Option D is incorrect. S3 intelligent tiering is a smart solution for managing the life cycle of S3 objects, resulting in economies of cost. With intelligent tiering, there are no retrieval fees, nor there are any fees for moving objects between tiers, unlike using S3 lifecycle policies, which incurs data transfer charges. S3 lifecycle policies are also often challenging to define due to the unpredictable nature of application adoption and uses. Even in scenarios where access frequency is known, it may so happen that customers may not use proper storage, class adjustments, resulting in non-optimized budgets. Option E is incorrect. An active-passive failover will always be economical to a client using the strategy for disaster recovery scenarios, since he will not be investing in an entire redundant site with all resources running simultaneously. He will have the flexibility to select his strategy depending on his recovery time objective. This will help him to save on cost. Next question. Your company asked you to check whether EC2 instances are running properly. You have written a script that will help to obtain the instance ID and then send a notification to an SNS topic. How can you retrieve the instance ID? And the options are A. By querying the instance metadata. B. By querying the instance user data. C. You need to get authorized with an IAM role prior to accessing the instance ID using metadata. D. You need to log into the AWS console and manually check the instance ID and instance status. And the correct answer is option A. By querying the instance metadata. Explanation. Because your instance metadata is available from your running instance, you do not need to use the Amazon EC2 console or the AWS CLI. This can be helpful when you're writing scripts to run from your instance. An instance's metadata provides you with information about the instance ID, local IP, instance type, etc. Option B is incorrect. User data is a section used for providing startup configuration to an EC2 instance. If you need to have an Apache web server running on an EC2 instance after it is provisioned, you can use the user data section and provide scripts for installing the software during instance creation. Option C is incorrect. Metadata information is available to EC2 instances by default without the need to provide an IAM role for accessing it. Option D is incorrect. Console login or manual intervention is not required to achieve this task. You can write a script and configure it to run at a scheduled time of the day wherein the EC2 instance can express itself to provide its health status. Next question. For storing on-prem backups, which S3 storage class is most cost-effective? And the options are A. S3 Standard, B. S3 Standard Infrequent Access, C. S3 Intelligent Tiering, D. S3 One Zone Infrequent Access. And the correct answer is option D. S3 One Zone Infrequent Access. Explanation. S3 One Zone Infrequent Access should be the preferable S3 storage class, as other storage classes are costly options. In this scenario, the data is a secondary backup copy and hence shall be accessed infrequently. Data resilience is not mandatorily required since the data is a secondary backup copy. Option A is incorrect. S3 standard will not be preferred as this will be a costly option when the requirement could be fulfilled using S3 One Zone IA. Option B is incorrect. S3 standard infrequent access will not be preferred as this will be a costly option when the requirement could be fulfilled by using S3 One Zone IA. Option C is incorrect. S3 intelligent tiering is incorrect because this is apt for data with changing patterns and here the pattern is not changing. This is also a costly option. Next question. A mobile app requires access to AWS resources such as S3 and DynamoDB. What is the most secure and easy way for mobile application users to access AWS resources? And the options are A. AWS security credentials should be stored within the mobile app for access to AWS resources. B. Security token service with identity federation will allow a user to access resources. C. Create users and groups within IAM and assign IAM policies for accessing the resources. D. Connect the mobile app to another web application running on an EC2 instance to access AWS resources. And the correct answer is option B. Security token service with identity federation will allow a user to access resources. Explanation. The best way to provide access to AWS resources in this scenario will be to use federated identity access using external identity providers like Amazon, Facebook, Google, etc. The mobile app can establish trust with these well-known IDPs and take advantage of the authentication mechanisms to validate user identity. As shown in the figure below, the mobile app uses Amazon as the external IDP for accepting user credentials and authenticating him. Using Cognito and the security token service, the mobile app then gets temporary security credentials for accessing the AWS resources required by the app. The role associated with the STS token and its assigned policies determine what can be accessed. Option A is incorrect. Distributing long-term AWS security credentials with external applications is not recommended, since the credentials may be compromised, resulting in security breaches. Option C is incorrect. Creating an ever-growing set of users within AWS IAM and assigning them permissions for accessing AWS resources will be impractical. Option D is incorrect, although it is a viable option to connect to an EC2 instance running a similar web application. It will duplicate effort on the developer's part. Next question. A retail company has launched a new application on Amazon EC2 instances. The application accepts both HTTP and HTTPS traffic. Due to the increased traffic during the monthly discounts, they had to introduce a load balancer to balance the load among the servers. What is the best load balancer to use? And the options are A. Classic load balancer, B. Network load balancer, C. Application load balancer, D. Both application load balancer and classic load balancer. And the correct answer is option C. Application load balancer. Explanation. Application load balancer operates at the request level, layer 7, routing traffic to targets, EC2 instances, containers, IP addresses, and Lambda functions based on the content of the request. Ideal for advanced load balancing of HTTP and HTTPS traffic. Application load balancer provides advanced request routing targeted at delivery of modern application architectures, including microservices and container-based applications. Application load balancer simplifies and improves the security of your application by ensuring that the latest SSL or TLS ciphers and protocols are used at all times. Option A is incorrect. Classic load balancer operates at request and connection level and provides basic load balancing. Classic load balancers can't redirect HTTP traffic to HTTPS by default. Option B is incorrect. Network load balancer is suitable for TCP, UDP, TLS traffic, load balancing and help provide extreme performance. Next question. Your client is interested in learning how AWS costs work. Which of these resources doesn't require payments from the client? And the options are A. RDS database backups, B. Inbound data transfer, C. EBS snapshots, D. Outbound data transfer. And the correct answer is option B. Inbound data transfer. Explanation. There are no inbound data transfer charges across all services in all regions. This means that customers can upload petabytes of data to storage destinations like S3 without paying inbound data transfer fees. Data transfers from on-premise to AWS cloud will also not incur transfer charges. Option A is incorrect. RDS provides both automatic backup and user-initiated point-in-time snapshots for maintaining reliability. Automatic backups are performed during the backup window of the DB instances, as defined during database creation. A storage volume snapshot of the DB instance is created that backups the entire DB instance and not just the individual databases. RDS database backups are stored in S3 and are priced at $0.095 per GB month. Option C is incorrect. EBS snapshots are stored in S3 that will incur storage costs depending on their size and retention policy of S3. EBS snapshots incur $0.05 per GB month of data stored. Option D is incorrect. Outbound data transfers from AWS services are subject to cost depending on different parameters, like data transfers from services within AZs in a region, data transfers from services across regions, and data transfers from services to the internet. Outbound data transfer prices also vary based on the region. Data transfers can be costly for re-hosted applications on AWS that may not be configured or aligned with AWS optimized features. For example, data transfer through a VPC endpoint can be secure and cheaper compared to routing it through the internet. Next question. Which of the following statements about consolidated billing is incorrect? And the options are: A. A root account cannot incur usage charges. B. Consolidated billing is offered free of cost. C. You can use IAM policies from root account to control access to budgets created by member accounts. D. Pricing models are applied across member accounts irrespective of a specific resource that the accounts may have. And the correct answer is option A. A root account cannot incur usage charges. Explanation. Although it is recommended that root accounts remain free of any resources, nothing stops the owner of the root account from creating resources. For example, the root account needs to have an S3 bucket where AWS cost and usage reports from the member accounts will be stored. Option B is incorrect. Consolidated billing is included in the free services list of AWS. Option C is incorrect. AWS budgets enable clients to plan their service usage cost and instance reservations. Accounts, single, master, and member have the ability to create budgets. When consolidated billing is used within an org, the master account has the ability to access budgets created by member accounts using IAM policies. Option D is incorrect. For billing purposes, the consolidated billing feature of AWS organizations treats all accounts in the org as one account. For instance, if there are 3 accounts linked for consolidated billing and one of them for account A has purchased 3 RI of M4 large configuration, it has not used them. Whenever account B launches an on-demand instance of M4 large, AWS will apply billing of the RI for account B. Thus, volume discounts are possible while using a consolidated billing model. Next question. Which AWS service can be deployed to enhance read performance for applications while reading data from NoSQL database? And the options are: A. Amazon Route 53, B. Amazon DynamoDB Accelerator, C. Amazon CloudFront, D. AWS Greengrass. And the correct answer is option B. Amazon DynamoDB Accelerator. Explanation. Amazon DynamoDB Accelerator is a caching service for DynamoDB which can be deployed in VPC in a region where DynamoDB is deployed. For read-heavy applications, DAX can be deployed to increase throughput by providing in-memory caching. Option A is incorrect because Amazon Route 53 is an AWS DNS service and cannot improve the performance of DynamoDB. Option C is incorrect because Amazon CloudFront is a global content delivery network that cannot be applied to a DynamoDB table. Option D is incorrect because AWS Greengrass is data caching software for connected devices. Next question. Why is AWS more economical than traditional data centers for applications with varying compute workloads? And the options are: A. Amazon EC2 costs are built on a monthly basis. B. Users retain full administrative access to their Amazon EC2 instances. C. Amazon EC2 instances can be launched on demand when needed. D. Users can permanently run enough instances to handle peak workloads. And the correct answer is option C. Amazon EC2 instances can be launched on demand when needed. Explanation. The ability to launch instances on demand when needed allows users to launch and terminate instances in response to a varying workload. This is a more economical practice than purchasing enough on-premises servers to handle the peak load. Option A is incorrect. EC2 uses are built on 1 second increments with a minimum of 60 seconds. Option B is incorrect. This is not an AWS advantage. Data center also provide administrative access. Option D is incorrect. Running instances permanently just to address the peak load is not economical and hence not considered as an advantage. Question 255. Which AWS service would simplify the migration of a database to AWS? And the options are A. AWS Storage Gateway, B. AWS Database Migration Service, C. Amazon EC2, D. Amazon AppStream 2. And the correct answer is option B. AWS Database Migration Service. Explanation. AWS DMS helps users migrate databases to AWS quickly and securely. The source database remains fully operational during the migration, minimizing downtime to applications that rely on the database. AWS DMS can migrate data to and from most widely used commercial and open source databases. AWS Database Migration Service supports homogeneous migrations such as Oracle to Oracle, as well as heterogeneous migrations between different database platforms such as Oracle or Microsoft SQL Server to Amazon Aurora. With AWS Database Migration Service, you can also continuously replicate data with low latency from any supported source to any supported target. For example, you can replicate from multiple sources to Amazon Simple Storage Service to build a highly available and scalable data lake solution. You can also consolidate databases into a petabyte scale data warehouse by streaming data to Amazon Redshift. Learn more about the supported source and target databases. Option A is incorrect. AWS Storage Gateway is a set of hybrid cloud storage services that provide on-premises access to virtually unlimited cloud storage. Option C is incorrect. EC2 provides the compute capability. Option D is incorrect. Amazon AppStream 2.0 offers secure, reliable, and scalable access to non-persistent desktops and applications from any location. Next question. Which AWS offering enables users to find, buy, and immediately start using software solutions in their AWS environment? And the options are A. AWS Config, B. AWS OpsWorks, C. AWS SDK, D. AWS Marketplace. And the correct answer is option D. AWS Marketplace. Explanation. AWS Marketplace is a digital catalog with thousands of software listings from independent software vendors that makes it easy to find, test, buy, and deploy software that runs on AWS. This is the place where a user can find, purchase, and post custom developed software solutions. All other options are incorrect, based on above explanation. Next question. It is important that as you transition from your on-premise system into the Amazon cloud that you focus on savings as you design your Amazon infrastructure and as you plan for your data migration. Which AWS well-architected framework pillar is focused on the logical and functional requirements and the overall refinement of the smallest price point available in a system? And the options are A. Reliability, B. Performance efficiency, C. Storage, D. Cost optimization. And the correct answer is option D. Cost optimization. Explanation. Cost optimization is a framework pillar that supports the improvement and efficiencies of an AWS infrastructure over a complete lifetime. The purpose of cost optimization is to meet functional requirements while achieving the smallest price point available. From a design perspective, its principles are overall efficiency, consumption modeling, not spending money on data centers, analyzing expenditures, and using managed services. Performance efficiency is a framework pillar that supports computing resources to maintain and meet business requirements as technologies change over time within the AWS infrastructure. The focus is on performance rather than cost. Storage is a subcomponent found under the performance efficiency pillar. Storage refers to the different types of storage relating to file, block, and object level storage. This is not related to the cost pillar. Reliability is focused on the stability of AWS systems and their ability to support business value with long uptimes and durable systems. This pillar is not focused on cost, but rather the durability and uptime of an AWS resource. Next question. Which of the following is an AWS responsibility under the AWS Shared Responsibility model? And the options are A. Configuring third-party applications, B. Maintaining physical hardware, C. Securing application access and data, D. Managing guest operating systems. And the correct answer is option B. Maintaining physical hardware. Explanation. Maintaining physical hardware is an AWS responsibility under the AWS Shared Responsibility model. Other options are incorrect. Options A, B, C are customer responsibilities. Next question. Which component of the AWS global infrastructure does Amazon CloudFront use to ensure low latency delivery? And the options are A, AWS regions, B, edge locations, C, availability zones, D, virtual private cloud. And the correct answer is option B, edge locations. Explanation. To deliver content to users with lower latency, Amazon CloudFront uses a global network of points of presence, edge locations and regional edge caches worldwide. Next question. How would a system administrator add an additional layer of login security to a user's AWS management console? And the options are A, use Amazon Cloud Directory, B, audit AWS identity and access management roles, C, enable multi-factor authentication, D, enable AWS Cloud Trail. And the correct answer is option C, enable multi-factor authentication. Explanation. Multi-factor authentication is a simple best practice that adds an extra layer of protection on top of a username and password. With MFA enabled, when a user signs into an AWS management console, they will be prompted for their username and password. The first factor, what they know, as well as for an authentication code from their MFA device. The second factor, what they have. Taken together, these multiple factors provide increased security for AWS account settings and resources. Next question. You are running a critical customer-facing application on AWS and you have an AWS business support plan. You recently noticed that some components were having issues. What severity should you choose when opening a support case with AWS? And the options are A, system impaired, B, production system impaired, C, production system down, D, business critical. And the correct answer is option B, production system impaired. Explanation. Important functions of production applications are impaired or degraded since the support engineer has an AWS account with a business plan. He or she can open a case with AWS with this severity selected. Refer to the table choosing a severity in the link below for more details. Option A is incorrect. Choose system impaired when non-critical functions of your application are behaving abnormally or you have a time-sensitive development question. In the given scenario, the application is a production application. Refer to the table choosing a severity in the link below for more details. Option C is incorrect. In this scenario, the business is not significantly impacted because important functions of the application are available. However, the performance is degraded. Refer to the table choosing a severity in the link below for more details. Option D is incorrect. This option should be selected when the business is at risk and the application's critical functions aren't available. Refer to the table choosing a severity in the link below for more details. Next question. Which of the following are the customer's responsibility in a shared responsibility model for infrastructure services, such as EC2? Select two options. And the options are A, network infrastructure, B, Amazon machine images, C, virtualization infrastructure, D, physical security of hardware, E, policies and configuration. And the correct answer is option B, Amazon machine images, and E, policies and configuration. Explanation. In the shared responsibility model, AWS is primarily responsible for security of the cloud. The customer is responsible for security in the cloud. In this scenario, the mentioned AWS product is IaaS and AWS manages the security of the following assets. Number 1, facilities. 2, physical security of hardware. 3, network infrastructure. 4, virtualization infrastructure. Customers are responsible for the security of the following assets. Number 1, Amazon machine images. 2, operating systems. 3, applications. 4, data in transit. 5, data at rest. 6, data stores. 7, credentials. 8, policies and configuration. Other options are incorrect. As per the explanation above. Next question. Which of the following support plans does not have access to support automation workflows with AWS Premium Support? And the options are A. Business, B. Developer, C. Enterprise on-ramp, D. Enterprise. And the correct answer is option B. Developer. Explanation. Option B is correct because the developer support plan does not have access to support automation workflow with AWS Premium Support. Rather, it has access to support automation workflows prefixes with AWS support. Options A, C, and D are incorrect because they have access to support automation workflows with prefixes AWS support and AWS Premium Support. Next question. Which of the AWS service helps you to set reservation utilization threshold and add trigger alerts when utilization drops below the defined threshold? And the options are A. AWS budgets, B. Savings plans, C. Reserved instance reporting, D. Reservation and utilization dashboard. And the correct answer is option A. AWS budgets. Explanation. In AWS budgets, you can set RI utilization budgets that define a utilization threshold and receive alerts when your RI usage falls below that threshold. AWS budget is the right answer if the question refers to the utilization threshold, savings plans budget, coverage threshold, billing alert, etc. Option B is incorrect. Savings plan is a pricing model providing significant savings up to 72% upon committing to a consistent usage for a 1 or 3 year term. AWS offers two types of savings plans, compute saving plan and EC2 instance saving plans. Option C is incorrect. Reserved instance reporting is a cost management tool that helps customers to manage and monitor their instance reservations. Option D is incorrect. Reservation and utilization dashboard is incorrect. Next question. Which of the options cannot be used to enable S3 to block the public access? Select two options. And the options are A. REST APIs, B. S3 console, C. SDKs, D. AWS CLI S3 MB command, E. S3 object lock. And the correct answer is option D. AWS CLI S3 MB command and option E. S3 object lock. Explanation. Option D is correct. AWS CLI S3 MB command is used to make a bucket and cannot be used to enable S3 block public access. Option E is correct. S3 object lock helps us to associate retention date to S3 objects. Deletion of the S3 objects is prevented until the specified retention date. Option A is incorrect. We can use REST APIs to enable S3 block public access. Option B is incorrect. S3 console can be used to enable S3 block public access. Option C is incorrect. SDKs can be used to enable S3 block public access. Next question. Which service can be used to securely store and automatically rotate credentials for Amazon RDS databases? And the options are A. AWS Systems Manager, B. AWS Systems Manager Parameter Store, C. AWS Secrets Manager, D. AWS Systems Manager Session Manager. And the correct answer is option C. AWS Secrets Manager. Explanation. AWS Secrets Manager can be used to store and manage secrets used to access databases or other resources in AWS. It automatically rotates these secrets on a regular basis. AWS KMS can be used to encrypt data stored in AWS Secrets Manager. Option A is incorrect, as AWS Systems Manager can be used to perform regular maintenance activities and get operational insights for resources deployed at both AWS Cloud and on-premises locations. Option B is incorrect, as AWS Systems Manager Parameter Store can be used to store credentials, but it's not suitable for the key rotation of the credentials. AWS Systems Manager Parameter Store is free of cost, but there is the additional cost incurred for using AWS Secrets Manager. AWS Secrets Manager provides additional benefits of automatic secret rotation at regular intervals. Option D is incorrect, as AWS Systems Manager Session Manager is a managed service to connect to Amazon EC2 instance without the need of SSH or Bastion host. Next question. Which AWS service provides the cheapest way to store application configuration data and secrets? And the options are A. AWS KMS, B. AWS Systems Manager, C. AWS Secrets Manager, D. AWS Systems Manager Parameter Store. And the correct answer is option D. AWS Systems Manager Parameter Store. Explanation. AWS Systems Manager Parameter Store can be used to store configuration data and secrets securely in a plain or encrypted format. Instead of storing this data along with the configuration files, data can be securely stored in the parameter store and can be referred to by the application code. Encryption for data stored in the parameter store is provided by using AWS KMS. There is no additional cost incurred for configuration data or secrets stored in the parameter store. Option A is incorrect, as AWS KMS cannot be used to store data. AWS KMS is integrated with AWS Systems Manager Parameter Store for encrypted data stored. Option B is incorrect, as AWS Systems Manager can be used to perform regular maintenance activities and get operational insights for resources deployed at both AWS Cloud and on-premises locations. Option C is incorrect, as AWS Secrets Manager can be used to store secrets in an encrypted format with AWS KMS. Storing secrets in AWS Secrets Manager incurs cost and is not free as AWS systems. Next question. Which AWS database offering is best suited for analytical workloads that can utilize standard SQL queries and work with the existing business intelligence tools? And the options are A. Amazon DynamoDB, B. Amazon Redshift, C. Amazon Aurora, D. Amazon RDS. And the correct answer is option B. Amazon Redshift. Explanation. Redshift is a fully managed data warehouse offering from AWS that allows users of standard SQL queries and existing BI tools. Redshift is suitable for OLAP. If the question refers to business intelligence analytics, Redshift would be the most probable answer. Option A is incorrect. DynamoDB is a NoSQL key-value database. DynamoDB is a document database. Option C is incorrect. Aurora is a MySQL and PostgreSQL compatible relational database service offering from AWS. Aurora is suitable for OLTP. Option D is incorrect. RDS is a distributed relational database service. Aurora is an RDS service. Thank you for watching this video. Buy our AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner CLF C01 premium questions with 50% off. Check link in the description.